So we're driving and I go, oh, that's a pretty tree. Him, you say that about every tree. I was like, well, you gotta go.
I think a lot of women, we go into relationships and we sabotage it before it can get started because we're like, well, he didn't go to college, or he doesn't make as much money as me, or will he be a good father? What is something that you found maybe with yourself or your girlfriends that women overthink?
What's up, everybody? My name is Mel, and welcome to Life Coaching by Mel. Here at Life Coaching by Mel, we speak truth regarding the nuclear family. And if you're new to the channel, do me a favor, hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell so you get each and every one of my videos. Hit that like button for me. Hit me in that comment section. Today is going to be an invigorating conversation that I know you want to contribute to, and be sure to share this with at least one person. Let's get into today's topic. On today's video, we go over an interesting interview from the one and only Jenifer Lewis, where she discusses how she cut off a man off of the strangest reason. In my view, I want to hear your view. What do you think? Do you think it's strange? And also, you want to be sure you stay to the end of this video because we're going to revisit a conversation that Taraji P Henson had discussing deal breakers. So this entire conversation is going to be about deal breakers, and I want to prove to you guys that your deal breakers are keeping you single and lonely. Let's get right into it.
Here's the example of why I had to get rid of him. We're driving on a big car. Life is great. And I come up on an Australian tree that I know is extinct. But it blooms pink. They're a fucking pink tree.
Now, I will be interrupting, by the way, just to provide my context of what's going on here. I know Jenifer Lewis is a very famous woman, a very popular woman amongst the Black community. She seemed to be everybody's mama on every show. Anything you can think of, what's love got to do with it, everything. You know, she's been everybody's mama at some point. I don't like her. I just never have liked her. I don't take too kindly to any woman who got a dirty mouth like this. And you hear her expressing herself. It sounds like she has a very heavy background. She has told us about her life before. And most women like that has some type of essay in their life and, you know, grapes situation, things that happen to them harshly. And you never want to blame anybody for any issue that they had in the past. But you do ask yourself, has this person always been this way? Or is it from that victory over those situations that has them this way? Either way, there is a mental issue, in my view, that causes someone to be this dramatic at all times and be this loud. And no matter what the situation calls for, she's this person. And somebody may say, well, that's just her keeping it real. No, I think it's her being annoying. It's her trying to be the center of attention. Because she's been dominated before, she wants to dominate going forward. She doesn't ever want to be dominated again. Therefore, she wants to be sure that she's the one that's dominating at all times. Just my view.
Of course I'm going to acknowledge it. So we're driving and I go, oh, that's a pretty tree. Him. You say that about every tree. I was like, well, nigga, you gotta go. The fuck is wrong with you? I'm sorry, but don't them bitches help us breathe?
This is a woman, I believe in her 60s or 70s. She's talking about an old school guy. This is old school. I'm not sure how long ago this was for her, but we know the old school men, they were short on words. And they really didn't play. They were real direct. They really, you know, whatever they felt at the time they said it, they didn't care about your response. They don't care about your emotions the way that men like me and our generation do in our time. For her to say, well, in where you have to go. You guys tell me, is that justified? Is that justified? I will venture to say that it's people like Jenifer Lewis and the generation that she's in that has a significant contribution to the decline of the value of marriage in the Black community. It's women like her, it's people like her in that generation that went into marriage with one foot in, one foot out, based on the trauma that they experienced in their childhood, that has led to what we now see is the worst statistics of all groups when it comes to marriage. When you look at the comment section of this video, you will see a lot of women champion this, and they would say that this is a bold move and this is something that she's doing for her. When you see something like this is a red flag, and you should know yourself enough to get out of a relationship instantly. I would venture to say that that mindset is what has led us to where we are now, where women see men as a disposable commodity in their life. He's not a valuable asset in her life. It's just something I can put down one day off of one thing that I see wrong and move on to the next person that would not do that thing, but may have another thing. And I got to look out for that thing so I can move on to my next thing. Jenifer Lewis views this as a deal breaker. If the man doesn't value the thing that I like, no matter how frivolous it is, he must go. And this type of mindset, this type of reasoning is why I say, and I say strongly to everyone, but primarily to the women, that your deal breakers are keeping you single and lonely. And it's very crucial that we examine these rigid standards that women have towards men nowadays, starting from her days, and evaluate if this is something that leads to success. Can this type of mindset and this type of standard affect your ability to have long-lasting relationships, long-lasting connections? And I would say no. So let's dive into this topic a little bit more and see how we can change our perspectives and find success in this area. My beautiful bride, Vera, came to me once and was like, why is Taraji P Henson still single? And I couldn't find a good answer for her. I was thinking hard and deep, ladies and gentlemen. I couldn't think of nothing good. But I landed on it got to be something deep. It got to be something deeper that we can't see on the surface. It's something that she hasn't revealed yet. In my mind, I can't fathom how a beautiful, successful, famous, seemingly intelligent woman as herself hasn't landed on her dream partner. Now, I do see that she was engaged at one point, and it seems to be a thing of the past of the moment. So to this day, it seems like she's not married, and we just got to ask, what is going on? Once she gets inside of a relationship, what is going on? What takes place? It's very likely that she's dating multiple guys, and she has been for years. But what keeps her and women like her constantly single and searching for their actual soulmate? It's hard to even fathom that someone would keep having these failed relationships and not feel some sense of loneliness inside and longing for companionship. But ladies and gentlemen, I think I found the answer. I think I found the solution. I found out what's going on. I want to share it with you guys. I'm excited to share it with you. Let's take a look at this clip. It's a clip from 5 years ago, but it's still relevant today. Let's take a listen.
I think a lot of women, we go into relationships and we sabotage it before it can get started because we're like, well, he didn't go to college, or he doesn't make as much money as me, or will he be a good father? What is something that you found maybe with yourself or your girlfriends that women overthink?
Now, before we move forward, I promise you we're going to move forward. I want to say that's an incredible question. I want to shout out this lady, Zondia Moore, I believe is her name. Incredible interviewer. I want you guys to check this out and check out her page as well. She does things like this as far as interviews with celebs on their movie premieres. And it looks like Taraji is premiering the movie What Men Want Here. But this is an incredible question. Let's see how Taraji answers.
I think just security, if you can't feel secure, if you don't feel secure, you're going to wonder, it starts there. Will I be secure in this relationship for the rest of my life? And it's not just financial, it's emotionally. Am I going to be, does he know how to love me? So I don't know if and also you have to have the right people around you. See, I am an overthinker. I'm an analytical brain. I'm a Virgo. It's in the stars. But I have a group of friends around me that are not going to allow me to leave the room. If me and my fiance find ourselves in an issue, they don't go, oh girl, you got to leave him. They go, They grab hands, they lock arms, and they go, you got to figure it out. You can't leave the circle. You got to stay and figure it out. That's what lifetime is about. So I think a lot of times it's who you're getting your advice from, which will help you sabotage your relationship.
Beautiful answer. I have to agree with her totally. Now, she said my fiance, so obviously this interview happened while she was still engaged. She said a couple things. She said security. And security, by all means, most people listen to that and they hear financial. But she broke it down. It's also emotionally, mentally, spiritually secure. My wife, for one, is someone who values security. I think every woman is that way. And it comes in many facets within our relationship. But then she went over to having the right people around you. That's incredibly important. When I see women that are single and constantly looking for their soulmate, constantly looking for their spouse, what you normally hear is other women championing them from the negative aspect. What you normally hear is women saying, you don't need him. Go ahead, leave, get back out here with us, get back in these streets. You rarely hear women like Taraji just described, women who are telling this girl, no, you can't do better. Stick with him, stick it out, at least to see the process through. A girl, that's not a big deal. That's not really a huge deal. Don't sabotage this. Don't lose this man off of this itty bitty thing like the tree, Jenifer Lewis. It's really not that big of a deal for you to be making it impact your whole relationship. But one would ask Taraji, if this was your advice at that time while you were engaged, what happened to that relationship?
So I have a hard question for you. All right, so first one. Ali's character got 3 tries with William. Meanwhile, Marie's fiance didn't get a second or third try after we found out that he had cheated. What's the difference between a mistake and a deal breaker?
Deal breaker is it's etched in stone. It's the law, right? A mistake, people make mistakes all the time. And if you're going to love, you have to love the person for their flaws, because we're all flawed and people are going to make mistakes. You got to go into a relationship knowing the person's going to let you down. You know, that's what we do. Humans hurt each other. I don't care who you are, your mom, your dad. Sometimes, some point in life, they said or did something that made you feel a kind of way. You know, that's humans. But when you're talking about loving unconditionally, you got to love that part.
All right. Who all agree with that? If you're in the comment section, tell me if you agree with that or not. She brought up unconditional love here, which is agape love. Agape love is a God love. There's no limit to that love. It doesn't end. I think that is uncommon in a lot of our relationships nowadays. We're called to have agape love to everyone, to love everyone. However, when it comes to a relationship and dating, there are things someone can do that you would say, hey, it's best for us to go our separate ways. However, when it comes to marriage, with this covenant, with this thing that God ordained, the first institution that God created, it's for us to go beyond those boundaries. It's for us to go beyond those deal breakers and go beyond those mistakes. When things get as hard as, are you willing to push beyond that?
You have to love the mistakes. Now, deal breaker, different story. That's not even up for discussion. Once we lay down a law and you break it, goodbye.
All right. Now she loses me because I want to know, what are we talking about? If we're talking about marriage, what type of deal breaker are we talking about here? Are we talking about a felony? Is this a law that's being broken? This is abuse, like infidelity. What are we talking about? I understand people are going to say, hey, deal breakers are deal breakers. And no matter what it is, if I say don't do it, you did it, it's over. At the end of the day, we're dealing with a human being that has their own individual choices, and people evolve throughout that relationship. So it could be something you said that is a deal breaker during your dating. You get married, 6 years down the line, they do it. Are you willing to let them go based on something you established in dating? And I'm laughing at Jenifer Lewis, and I'm saying this is crazy, but there are women that would leave for situations such as that. I don't think Jenifer Lewis was married to that guy, but women would leave a relationship based on a man being annoyed and saying, hey, you say this stuff all the time. I'm tired of hearing that. Like, women get this thing about them that say, hey, I've got to protect my peace. I got to choose myself. Like, saying all these individualized things that doesn't profit anything within the confines of a relationship, especially within the confines of a marriage. And people are just rolling with this stuff. People are just rolling with women saying just bull crap that doesn't produce anything positive. So we need to really analyze and understand, be clear and direct about what these deal breakers y'all talking about, because it doesn't make sense for women like Taraji to be single at this point. So she's obviously telling us that fiance stepped on one of her deal breakers. You told us that you would not leave him for a mistake. I'm saying this in essence that we all should evaluate what our deal breakers are. Is it a true deal breaker, or is it something that you just want to fit within your perfect world? Let me say this as well. Just because this lady has a deal breaker don't mean you should have that same deal breaker. It's something I can't stand about women, but I also respect at the same time, that you ladies are like a united front, kind of have a community brain. Like, whatever's trendy, women tend to go with. Like, I've been hearing women say this, my man thing. I'm like, where did this come from? And how do a woman in St. Louis say the same thing that a woman in Atlanta say? Or shoot, Denmark. Like, no matter where, if it's a black woman somewhere, she will be saying the same thing. And with that said, I've heard women that have totally been okay with something at one point, but because it's trendy that women are against that in total or in general, then now this woman is saying, well, no, I'm not, I don't really want to do that no more. When you hear about women doing some freaky stuff, let's just keep it real, because women talk with each other. I've had women in my past, long time ago, to tell me, I don't want to do that because I don't want nobody to know I'm a hoe. And I'll be thinking, who gonna know? It's just you and me. Like, if you don't tell nobody, who will know? Because they talk about every single thing, and they're more worried about the perception of other women than what they actually think within themselves. They care more about what everybody got to say about them than what they truly like in their own heart or mind. And that's why I'm simply suggesting to you today, I'm not saying that you're wrong for the deal breakers that you have. I'm saying you need to reevaluate, because it may have been some things you were not okay with 5 years ago that you are okay with now. Just reevaluate. Go back to the drawing board and say, hey, I've had 5 different relationships that gone bad since I've created this wall of deal breakers. Which one of those is not really that big of a deal? Which one of those is keeping the men running off? Which one of those is really keeping me sad, lonely, looking stupid on my phone every night, wishing somebody rung it.
Now, I love the soliloquy at the end of the movie about, Ali starting her own agency because she didn't want to, seek the validation, of a man, being the executive producer and the star of the film. And there's a Caucasian male director and there's, male producers. What is that balance between being a boss and not being labeled a bitch?
You have to be a team player.
I'm sorry, y'all. These are incredible questions. I got to announce it. I'm sorry.
That's anybody. Even though, yes, the director was a male. Yes, the producers are men. They're fair. They're fair in their thinking. Therefore, I have a team. These are people that we can work together. You can't ever be afraid to speak your mind. Like, Will knows that if I speak up about something, it's because I'm passionate about it. I'm not a problem maker. Like, I don't come to set. If there's an issue that I feel passionately about, I'm going to speak on it. But also, too, you have to learn to pick your battles. You can't fight every fight. You want to win the war. So you have to be very conscious about the battles you choose.
She said that about working on set. Is that true about relationship as well? 100%. And she's talking to women because the question was perfectly geared towards the women's perception and how women should operate. This is something to be very, very conscious of. And I think this is a lost art amongst our women, Black community, amongst modern women in general. Picking your battles. Man, it's so sexy. So sexy to see a woman hold in the things she could say. Instead of saying the things that she want to say that would probably make the situation worse, she holds it in and picks a better opportunity or pick better phrasing. Those things get you further along with men any day. Because the one thing men can't stand is somebody we know that can't whoop us, talking to us like they can whoop us. Whether it be a kid, a man that's smaller than us or don't have experience in fighting as we do, or especially a woman. And when women lack in physical strength, you guys have more power within your tongue. You have so much within your tongue and your ability to cut a man down that's honestly stronger than any fist that we can take. Your future is in your hands. The future of your relationship, if you're in a current one or if you're looking to be in one, are you ever going to address your tongue? Are you ever going to address how and when you approach things? If you ever do that, guarantee you'll find way more success.
I Googled relationship advice for men and business books came up. Meanwhile, there are so many podcasts, books, movies giving women advice on how to be in a relationship. What is something that you feel like men, especially having a son, what are they not taught, or what do they need more of in terms of courting and dating and being in a relationship? Overall,
men just should feel a little more comfortable being vulnerable. I taught my son, you can cry, baby. If you feel a kind of way, that's your feelings. Purge them. Crying is okay. Cry, purge, be vulnerable, because you make a woman feel safe when you're vulnerable.
I love everything she said up until this point. I'll be honest with you. This is some low BS. And this is where I say women will tell you everything that they want you to do and then hate the fact that you did it after you do it. I think this is around the time, 5 years ago, it's around the time where women was really pushing for men to be more vulnerable, cry, do all those things. And now we face in 2025, really in 2024, we saw it more than anything, women talking about men being sassy. Am I lying? If I'm lying, tell me in the comment section. All you saw in every comment section of men talking about their vulnerabilities is women saying how sassy he is. If you look good enough, then they won't say it. But for any man look like me, you sassy. This is another indication why women should not raise kids alone. I'm hoping the boy's dad in his life, and he countered every attempt she made to make him softer. Hope he countered that with something to make him harder. This is dangerous conversation. In the world that men live in, we know there's a time and place for everything. There is a time to cry. Typically, that's alone by yourself or with some men that you can trust, but not in front of women of any variety. Your mother, your wife, daughter, your therapist. Don't cry in front of any woman. There's times that you can't control it. Of course, there's moments where someone passes away or a significant moment in your family that really tugs at your heart. You can't hold it in. If you can, hold it in and then go, by yourself and let it all out. But for the most part, men are called to be leaders. Men are called to be strong. Men are called to lead with that strength. When a hard situation happens, ain't nobody got time for your tears. It's time for you to make an executive decision that everyone can follow and have confidence. And your shaking hands and your vulnerability at that moment, it's not the best time. But like I said, there's a time and place for everything.
And I think when men are for so long and they've been taught at a very young age, don't cry, shake it off, be a man. And sometimes being a man is being vulnerable, and it's okay.
But yes, as I stated, it better be time and place. You got to know when to do it, when not to do it, because that woman see you crying at the toughest times, it's kind of hard to recover from. I want to say this to everybody on the side of my voice. If you're in a marriage or considering marriage, there's no such thing as a deal breaker. Marriage is not a deal. It's a covenant. And you can break that covenant if you want, but there's no justifiable reason. Yes, the Bible does talk about infidelity. If infidelity takes place, you have grounds for divorce at that point. However, that's something that God allowed over time, but his original design for marriage was for it to be forever. It wasn't designed for you to come into the marriage with 1 foot in, 1 foot out, expecting if something were to go wrong, I'm out of here. And then lists of things that can go wrong that will make you get out of there is longer than the Constitution. We are bound together by the blood of Jesus Christ. My wife, Vera's Nigerian. She said that some Nigerian weddings, they do communion to indicate that this is not just about us. It's a significant moment with the blood of Jesus Christ. We are bound together by blood. If you want to know what it looks like to be married, you look at the relationship between Jesus and the church. The way that Jesus is in relationship with the church is the way that a husband is in relationship with his wife. So I don't remember Jesus sitting down in the church and say, hey, these are a few deal breakers. There's a few things you can do to me that will make me no longer die for you. There's a few things you can do to me that make me no longer be your savior. I don't recall that. If you've seen that, you let me know. And this is a divorced man in my second marriage saying this. I'm not trying to be hypocritical whatsoever. What I am saying is I recognize my mistakes. I recognize the thing that I did that caused that divorce, and I understand the things that my ex did. But there's no point in having a mistake of that magnitude without learning from it. There's no point in having a second marriage if you're going to go into it with the same mindset. Let go of deal breakers. Let go of the things that you're looking to find a mistake, hoping that a mistake happened. Because honestly, you want to stay single. You want to stay single because there's less risk involved in that. Your heart ain't on the line when you're single. You don't have to let go of your fear. You can stay right where you are, stay in a little happy place, being alone, and trying to convince the world that you're not lonely. It don't matter how well we are convinced. We can be convinced by that. But at the end of the day, you go home to be with yourself and your dogs and your cats, your mouse, all that stuff. You are home by yourself. And I'm asking you, don't be honest with me, be honest with yourself and say, yes, it's my fault. I have a significant part to play in the failed relationships that I've had. If you made it this far in the video, first off, I appreciate you. Secondly, I want you to understand that what Jenifer Lewis said in that video was a load of crap. She's now, I believe, married. But I believe the status of her marriage is a mystery on purpose. She's not the type of person that you want to follow. I understand somebody may say something that make you feel good, but I always identify if this is somebody I want to follow. So I want to have a career of going from man to man to man to man, finally finding somebody in my late 50s, 60s. That relationship is still up in the air as well because I can't even be public about it. When you listen to somebody's advice, consider the source. I'm not even saying believe what I'm saying. I'm saying the answers are within. Listen to yourself and the Lord speaking to you when you're all alone. The moments that you're alone and that you feel that inkling to say, man, am I wrong? How did I get here? The common denominator in every relationship that you've ever been in has been you. I'm sure some of you have been doubling back to the same person, but even in that relationship, you are the common denominator. It's time to be honest, look yourself in the mirror, and reevaluate that deal breaker list. Hey, what's up, everybody? My name is Mel. Thank you for joining my channel. Thank you for checking things out here. Oftentimes we go on people's pages and are like, man, what is going on here? What is the purpose of this channel? So let me be clear. The purpose of this channel is to speak truth regarding the nuclear family. And when I say truth, I'm not saying my truth, not your truth, but the Lord's truth. All about the word, all about the ways and the will of God. What does he have to say about the nuclear family? And I believe the generations of today, whether it be Gen X, millennials, Gen Z, Gen Y, whatever the case may be, I believe now we have a very toxic relationship regarding marriage, regarding family, regarding having children. We're in a toxic dynamic as we speak. And honestly speaking, a lot of the answers that we're looking for in our community, a lot of the cures and a lot of the answers would come from a proper, fulfilled family home. If you go down the line of everyone's individual trauma, there you will find some negligence or some type of issue that they had with their parents. So here on this channel, we address those things head on. We don't place fear in those issues and avoid the topic. We do what Jesus did. And when he said, don't assume that I came for peace, but I came with a sword. I came to turn family members against family members if it means you following me. If you have to cut them off, if you have to address them and have arguments for you to follow me, so be it. And I think at this point in our society, we're at the so be it stage. So here at Life Coaching by Mel, I'm all about bringing healing to that. And the number one way to do that is have honest conversations. So if that's something you like, that's something you're into, that's something you really want to be a part of, be sure to hit that subscribe button. Be sure to comment. Let me know what you think about everything. I do my best to respond as often as I can. I want to hear from you guys. This is not about me. It's about healing our nation, healing our states, healing our cities, healing our community, healing our homes. Love you guys. Take care.
Let's go.